Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Stepping Up to the Plate. I'm your host, Michael Vega. Thank you for joining us here on our summer hiatus edition. Before we go on summer hiatus, but we so much to catch up with locally with the Milton High baseball team on the roll here, rolling into the state championship for the second year in a row and looking for a repeat title in Division II. Congratulations to Coach Brendan Morrissey and his team for a job well done. We were able to catch up to them couple games this week, a couple playoff games that we were able to join Jackson Lang, the voice of the Wildcats, and happy to be with him alongside for some of the broadcasts that we did that are available right now on MiltonAccessTV.org and YouTube channel as well. So if you want to catch up to some of those games, by all means. But unbelievable performances. They had a big 4-2 win against North Quincy to start it off, and then they came back, had a great performance against a very hard-throwing Jack Cropper out of Norwood in a 9-3 to win there in the quarterfinals. Advanced to the semifinals, another home game at Cunningham Park this past Saturday, where unbelievably the Wildcats survived getting no hit by Plymouth North pitcher D.C. Brown, and pulled out a 1-0 victory at Cunningham Park on the strength of a sacrifice fly by Jimmy Fallon that was manufactured when Brown hit Reed Dexter to put him on base. They get a pinch runner, Jack Sullivan, on board. He steals second. Owen McHugh, the next batter, gets on base on draws a walk. So now you have two men on. Then both runners advance on a wild pitch, and then Fallon gets up and hits a sac fly oppo to right field for the game-winning RBI, and Milton hangs on with Owen McHugh on the mound. He threw a complete game shutout with 12 strikeouts. And then that was followed up by another strong pitching performance by Scott Longo in the semifinal win, a 4-0 shutout over Whitman Handsome on Wednesday night over in Fraser Field in Lynn, where the Wildcats got 6 1/3 strong innings out of Longo, and he struck out 15 in that game. But we had an opportunity to visit with Coach Brendan Morrissey before their championship matchup here against King Philip on Saturday at Polar Park in Worcester. But we had an opportunity to chat with him after their big win against Plymouth North. All right, Michael Vega here with the winners of this Division II quarterfinal playoff against the Plymouth North Eagles. The Milton Wildcats, the captains. I'm joined here by Owen McHugh, Jack Finnegan, and Jimmy Fallon, the guys who are integral parts of this win here. 1-0 win against the Plymouth North Eagles, the 8th seed, the number 9 seed, in fact. But the Wildcats, the top seed, coming true to form. Owen McHugh, congratulations. Unbelievable performance on the mound with 12 strikeouts, only 3 hits, 2 of which came in the first inning. Owen, tell me, what was working for you today?
I think I had a pretty good mix today. I think all the pitches were working fairly well, but I just stuck to the fastball, which has always, been good for me. So.
Absolutely, it's usually an out pitch for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. At what point? I mean, first inning with 2 hits, was that a little bit of an eye opener for you?
No, we knew that was their 2 best hitters, and just work around them and get the next guys out. Trust the defense behind me.
Yeah. And your battery mate here, Jack Finnegan. Finny, once that he got through that inning, he settled down pretty nicely. Retired 8 consecutive batters before giving up the next hit, but he strung together some nice strikeouts. What was going good there behind the plate?
Juice, just no one can hit his fastball if he puts it where he wants it. So he was just hitting his spots and dicing them up. They couldn't hit him when he was on.
And Jimmy Fallon, you made that last put out there to seal it with a beautiful, and he made some nice crisp plays there in the outfield. But I still remember the big knock you got in the win against North Quincy, or against Norwood with the triple there. It's the little things with this team here, isn't it, that kind of can get it going. Do you feel like you guys are rolling now?
Yeah, definitely. I think the little things played a huge part today. I mean, the kid threw a no-hitter. No one got a hit, so we knew we just needed to do the little things right and come up big.
Unbelievable, yeah. You got to tip your cap to D.C. Brown, the left-hander there for the Plymouth North Eagles, you know. But I thought the Wildcats, the way you guys handled Jack Cropper from Norwood, a guy who came in with a lot of, big rep, but Scott Longo, I thought outdueled him. What kind of confidence did you draw from that, guys?
Yeah, we know Scott's been a guy the whole year. He's undefeated, so anytime he's on the bump, we know we got a good shot winning. So got a lot of confidence in the kid. You guys got anything?
Yeah. Well, now you're back to the semifinals. We're waiting to see who it will be between Westfield and Whitman Hanson. But you're going back to a familiar venue. Looks to be Campanelli Stadium in Brockton. What kind of memories do you draw, and how do you draw upon that experience of having won there before?
Yeah, I guess I'll give it to him a sec, but just remember the first thing, we went up big and that was electric, so hopefully we can keep that momentum going.
Yeah, after a no-hitter, it's nice to go back to Campanelli where we put up 9 runs in the first inning. Hopefully we can get some of that going again next game. Yeah, I mean, it's a great environment there. It's a big stadium. A lot of people come out and support us, so hopefully we get the same turnout as last year.
Absolutely. Well, you gentlemen are to be congratulated, creating more memories here for all the fans here in Milton. I don't know if you saw it, but this place was lined with people. Even when it was raining, no one left. And I know that you weren't about to leave the mound, with the game in hand, but unbelievable job. Congratulations, Owen, Vinny, and Jimmy. Take care, guys, and good luck to you in the next round. We'll be right back with Coach Brendan Morrissey, the architect of this season. As I promised you, I'm back here with Coach Brendan Morrissey, the architect of this 20-3 season so far. The Wildcats on to the semifinals after an impressive 1-0 win against Plymouth North and an impressive pitching performance by their guy, the left-hander D.C. Brown. But the Wildcats manufactured a big run there in the third inning and made it stand up. Owen McHugh. Brendan, can you tell me a little bit about, what it means to get this team back in the semifinals?
Yeah, it's awesome. Since we started the playoffs, the motto with the guys was to get back on the bus. If we got back on a bus, we knew we had 3 home games. We're going to the semifinals. So these guys love playing in big games, and we got a chance to do it again.
So we're going to see another town spa visit?
Hopefully, that will be a great situation. Yeah, last year we had a day off before the finals, and we went out to Campanelli and scouted the 2 teams and took the boys out to town spa. So it was a great night.
Will that be a similar setup? Will you be the first game and then you'll find out and then have a chance to scout?
Yeah, they haven't released the schedule yet, but we'll see how it falls if that happens. It's a great team building night, so it'll be a great situation if we're in it again.
Yeah. Well, this team has, done it all year too. I mean, manufacturing runs, getting great pitching performances. Scott Longo, I thought, outdueled Jack Cropper, and then of course you get the ace, here, Owen McHugh going, and 12 strikeouts in that game, and gave up 2 in the first inning, but really settled down after that.
Yeah, they're just a great group of kids. Since the third Monday of March when this thing started, they show up every day, they work hard, and the biggest thing is they have a ton of fun. So they're a great group. It's a privilege to coach them, and can't thank them enough for how hard they work.
Yeah, now you're back to the semifinals, as I mentioned. How do you draw upon the experiences that you had last year, not just going to the semifinals, but winning it all?
Yeah, it's a great experience to have. A lot of the guys were in the dugout last year and on the field, and they know what it takes to win these tight games, and they cherish the opportunity to go out there and play in big games. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. How do you think they'll all handle it now?
Oh, they're ready to go. They've been trying to get back on that bus since the playoffs started, one at a time, and we're going to keep that same mentality like we've done for years up here. Put in the work at practice and come out rip-roaring ready to go.
There you go. So that's been the motto, back on the bus?
Yeah, we're back on the bus, so now we're going to go take care of business.
All righty. That's the Milton Wildcat head coach, Brendan Morrissey. Job well done. 20-3 season with more wins to come, we hope. And they're going to be back on the bus, headed down to Brockton, to Campanelli Stadium for the Division II semifinals. Congratulations, Brendan.
Thank you very much.
Job well done, man.
Thanks.
All righty. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
All righty, that does it for us here. And we want everyone to get out there to Brockton. We don't know the date yet, time to be decided, and opponent also to be decided. It'll be either Whitman-Hanson or Westfield. So it's going to be an unbelievable game down there for the Wildcats as they strive to defend their Division II state championship title. All right, everybody, back to the studio. Well, as Coach Morrissey mentioned, they're getting back on the bus, and they'll be headed to Worcester on Saturday, where they'll face King Philip in the Division II state championship. And so we want to try and encourage all Milton fans to get on the bus with the Wildcats and get out there to Polar Park to support the Wildcats in their attempt to repeat as Division II state champions. So we want to congratulate them and wish them well. Coach Brendan Morrissey, job well done. And we look forward to maybe a duck boat parade here in Milton. And Al Prizzuti, my main man, they're having duck boat parades as we speak in Las Vegas and over in Denver after the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals concluded with identical 4-1 series results. The Nuggets beating the Miami Heat 4-1 for their first championship in franchise history. And then with Bruce Cassidy, old friend Bruce Cassidy, behind the bench, the Vegas Knights realized their owner's dream of winning a Stanley Cup title within 6 years. I think they became the first franchise to win it in as fewer years as that. So unbelievable job. What was your take, Al, as you watched this, the Stanley Cup and NBA Finals unfold?
Well, on the on the NBA, I thought it was an interesting game. I think Denver was the better team, and it was kind of ironic that Miami had a chance to take that game, and Butler was the one who threw the ball away at a key time.
He had
hit two, three-pointers that kept them in the game. And then that one play where he passed it off and the guy stole the ball. It was a sin to see that because the guy's a terrific player.
Yeah.
But I think the better team won. In terms of the NHL, I think this just solidifies the fact that defense wins, and Cassidy is a defensive coach.
Yeah.
And they were a better defensive team, checking team, hitting team than Florida was. So I wasn't surprised by the outcome, and in some respects, I'm happy that Cassidy, would leave a 6-year run where the Bruins were in the playoffs every year and move out to Vegas and have them win. Incidentally, the voice of the Vegas,
Dave Gosher, friend of the show here,
was a Bruins announcer. So
yeah.
I wasn't disappointed. I thought a couple of interesting things, though, was this is just an aside. In tennis, you had Novak Djokovic won his 23rd
in year 2023,
Master, and he beat Casper Ruud, who was from Norway.
Yeah.
And in the PGA, Victor Hovland won the tournament, who's from Norway.
Right.
And Nokic, what's his name? The center for
Croat. Yeah.
He's from Serbia.
Yeah.
And Djokovic is from Serbia.
Right.
So there was a lot of ties there. Incidentally, Brady was in the
box with Jokic.
In the box in Paris for that.
I wonder how that relationship came through.
But I thought the other thing, well, winners. I mean, people.
Well, I think there's something else going on there.
There's the greatest tennis player, arguably the greatest tennis player in the
GOAT versus GOAT.
Two GOATs.
Yeah, there you go.
But then the last thing I thought was fascinating. You had Tommy Fleetwood from Britain tied with the Canadian.
Nick Taylor.
First time since 1963 that a Canadian had won. But the interesting thing was they went 4 playoff holes.
Yeah.
They played the 18th twice, the 9th, and then back to the 18th. Fleetwood hit his shot about 15 feet from the cup that would have
made birdie.
Tied. Taylor was 72 feet away.
Eagle chance.
With an eagle chance. Even if he got within 10, then they would have both had to have synced that to go to another hole,
round.
And he sinks it. He said it was the longest putt he's ever sunk in his life.
Unbelievable.
So you had a Canadian win the Canadian. You had 2 from Norway. You had 2 from Serbia. So it's an international sporting event.
Well, let me tell you, though, the exuberant scene on that green afterwards on the 18th, right? And I think it was Adam Hadwin comes out with a bottle of champagne and he starts spraying them both down, the caddy and Nick Taylor. And some overzealous security guy comes running up from behind and form tackles Hadwin on the green.
I thought what was interesting, though, is that all the Brits stuck around for Fleetwood. And all the Canadian, not only the players who were in the tournament, but
Mike Weir.
Mike Weir, who was one probably Canada's
First
most
major,
notable.
a major winner.
Stuck around. So what I thought was fascinating, though, on the 14th hole, I forget her name, she wore a Toronto Maple Leafs shirt.
Yeah.
And the guy that she was talking with, and I don't know his name, he had a Calgary Flames shirt on.
Yeah.
Well, this was in Toronto. So she was getting cheered because she had the Toronto shirt on, and the fans were just crazy. I mean, that was the good thing about
that
golf.
Weekend,
except I hate when a guy tees it up on a par 5, hits a drive, and somebody shouts in the hole.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Really?
You know he's drunk. But anyways, now the seg to your favorite team, the Red Sox.
Oh.
It's really fascinating to see this team disintegrate in front of us. I mean, they're playing Colorado, who's probably
we've
the
been
worst
watching
team.
it for a year and a half now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like I can barely watch it.
2 positives, though, from the game. Just this, Kiki's not going to play shortstop anymore.
Right.
He'll play center field. Well, that's going to be an interesting thing because Duvall.
He's going to platoon with Duvall.
So I think Duvall probably would end up as the switch hitter when Kiki plays center field. He's much better center fielder than he is shortstop. He's also a pretty decent second baseman compared to shortstop. But until Story comes back, that's going to be an if for the Red Sox. And if you think about their pitching. I know that Pavetta's done a nice job on in the bullpen,
but Al, here we go again with
Corey
Chris Sale.
Kluber should be with the Woo, let alone the Woo Sox. I mean the No Sox.
Well,
I mean, you can't get anybody out.
The one guy who's been kind of their saving grace a little bit has been James Paxton.
Yeah, Paxton and this kid I thought pitched a good game the other night. Bello or whatever.
Brian Bello.
He pitched a good game,
Yeah.
and he shows promise. Paxton, I think, shows promise, and I thought, unfortunately, Sale looked like the old Sale in some of the games
until he got hurt.
Yeah. And I think Kluber should be out of the. If you're going to put anybody back in there, I mean, Houck has pitched fairly well, and
did you see the sad news?
Whitlock has pitched well.
The sad news.
Well,
sad news to report here at Stepping Up to the Plate. This just in, Jackie Bradley Jr. designated for assignment.
Wow. I mean, great
moment of silence.
Player like that. I mean, it's just, it's really, the other thing I think come out of last night's game is Tristan Casas not playing.
His days are numbered now?
Well,
I mean, do they get,
I do believe
they really didn't give him a good look last year, did they?
Well, I think what he is, I mean, he was highly thought of in the minors, but a lot of people are until they come up and face good pitching, 5 good pitches in a row. I mean, the last pitcher in a 5-man rotation is better than the top pitcher in the minors.
You figure a kid like that's going to bump into a home run at some point, right?
Well, he's the type of kid that right now would do what a Dahlbeck was doing. He'll hit between 15 and 20 home runs maybe.
Yeah.
But his batting average is worse than Dahlbeck's batting average. Dahlbeck's hitting .290, incidentally, down in the minors. It's a big difference. But Dahlbeck would hit home runs, too. He'd hit 15, 20, 25 home runs. I think Tristan needs somebody to talk to him about hitting because his swing is too big. You got to have a shorter swing, and for him,
does this team?
Because he strikes out a lot.
They're at an interesting crossroads, Al, and I say this because they really don't have much in the way of trading chips in the minors.
Nothing.
And now, if they're going to go out and do something at the trading deadline, they're going to have to really trade some significant pieces.
Yeah, well, it won't
And,
be. It won't
and then,
be
and then
Devers, but-
who do you go out and what do you get and how much are you willing to spend? This team is hamstrung right now. They are riding the freight elevator straight down to the basement right now.
But that's what they are. They're a 500. With the team that they put out there, which is a minor league team in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
They're not going to win in this division because the division
No.
is pretty stacked. They don't have the pitching. They don't have the defense for sure. And they got a lot of guys that are iffy. I mean, let's be honest about it. Kiki Hernandez has only been a great hitter in the playoffs. He's always been a 240, 245 hitter.
Yeah.
Okay, but he gives you good defense out in center field, but he's not a hitter. Casas is too quick. Duran started good, it's starting to falter a little.
Taper off.
Verdugo is consistently decent player.
Yeah.
And I
Arroyo, I think, when he's healthy.
yeah, but he's never healthy. So
No.
I mean, I think the Japanese kid is better than that they thought he was.
Yeah.
He started bad. And Connor Wong is for a little guy can hit,
Yes.
but so can McGuire.
Yeah.
I mean Reese can.
So they're getting some good production out of their catchers.
Well, for the catches, I think you go right and left.
Right.
I mean that's not bad, but shortstop is a hole for them, and the pitching staff is still a hole, and relief pitching.
So who's going to be out there selling starting pitching right now? The A's?
Well, it would be nice if we could get maybe a trade Devers for Evaldi.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. But I mean, Evaldi's been the best pitcher. He's been the best pitcher in the league.
Why can't we get guys like that out?
Yeah, well,
That's my question.
and he was
you
a
know?
good pitcher even last year, and why they didn't sign him or make an attempt to sign him, and I don't know the specifics of whether he wanted to stay or not.
Yeah.
But the kid was a decent pitcher and a strikeout pitcher, and he leads the majors, the American League anyways, but I think 9 or 10 wins already.
Yeah.
And his strikeout ratio is pretty high. So I don't know. I mean, they're counted on Sale. That's like counting on winning in 21 and Encore or the casino. The house wins.
Blackjacked out.
Yeah. Well, either way, but.
Yeah, it's a long shot right now for them to kind of make any kind of noise. And I don't know that there's any kind of deal, blockbuster or otherwise, that they could possibly divine out there.
What they have to decide on is get all of the guys out and bring up the money and give up the season because it's over. We're only talking about June. But for all intents and purposes, that
It was over a
lineup
month ago.
Can't beat anybody.
Right.
Now they go in. This is the conundrum that they face. They go in and play the Yankees 2 out of 3 and win. I mean, won 2 out of 3. They could have lost all 3. They could have won all 3.
Right.
And then they play Colorado, and now they've lost 2. They lost before to Arizona.
Yeah.
So teams that they should, Arizona and Colorado are probably the 2 of the worst teams with the Red Sox, but they lose to them. So, and then they beat the Yankees, who are a better team.
It's a head scratcher, Al.
So-
it's a head scratcher. I mean, they
I'm only happy
and that's one reason I think people are turning them off. They're tuning them out. They're staying away. I mean, you yourself, big fan. Didn't you turn down tickets to go?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. First time I think I've ever turned down tickets.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go to see a game which, I could go out to Woo Sox and pay $12 and sit in the box seats to pay.
Al, you can go to Bowler Park and watch the Milton High
Yeah.
baseball team and be entertained.
So you go to the Red Sox game, it costs you $175 to sit in the upper boxes. It costs you $60 to park. It costs you $12 for a beer. I mean, that's crazy.
You know how to make a small fortune in baseball? Take a big fortune and go to the Red Sox game.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But Al, to circle back to some of my thoughts about the Stanley Cup and NBA Finals, if I could. At the end of the NBA Finals, Al, I sat there going, even if the Celtics had survived the Miami Heat, there was no way they were gonna beat that team.
No, you can't beat that kid. First of all,
He's an
unmovable, and he can shoot from outside. He's got a soft touch, but he also drives the basket. When he's driving the basket, I mean, he's unmovable.
He was practically averaging a triple-double the entire
He can
playoffs.
pass, he can shoot, he can drive.
Does it all.
He is the most valuable player.
And then the other thing is, like, this ain't going to be the first one they win, and it won't be the last for that team.
I'll tell you, but all right, so if you want to talk about the two, I think a healthy Bruins team
could they have
could have
beaten
beaten Vegas.
Could they have?
Yeah, they could have if
But they got beat up.
Hampus was feeling better, if Ullman had played to his potential that he had during the season, they could have given him a better run than Florida.
Well,
Florida was
would
playing
they
on
have even
emotion.
survived the Hurricanes?
Well, Florida was playing on emotions. They just barely beat the Bruins. You've got to remember, the Bruins had them 3-1.
Yeah.
And
that momentum carried them over.
Right, and then they went on, and so they were playing on emotion. And then don't forget, last night Kachuk did not play.
Right, he got beat up.
He couldn't play.
No.
Because
Fractured
he got a 10
sternum.
games. Yeah,
They said, and Paul Maurice at the end of the game said he had a fractured
So I watched
sternum.
that game the other night. At the end of the game, when it was they almost scored. He almost scored, Kachuk, and the goalie made a save with his pad, and there was a guy standing right in front who hit it into his pad again. Yeah. So with no time left, and then of course the fights broke out afterwards because of the frustration more than anything. But
it was extraordinary how Paul Maurice reported that at the end of that game, there's some question about whether he'd be able to practice, or he shows up and he says Matthew did not even dress himself. He had to be dressed.
Yeah, no,
he had to have his skates, and then he showed up the next day and he was like
without him. I mean,
pain.
you got guys like Bennett and Verhaeghe and stuff like that. They're good players. They're not great players, but
he makes them better.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
And without him, I'll tell you the guy that
take
shines,
him away from the Bruins series and Bruins win.
Two guys that shine though for Vegas that made them very difficult. One was Pietrangelo. I mean, that was a big move to get a defenseman like Pietrangelo.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but
Marchessault?
No, Eichel.
Oh, Eichel. Yeah.
I mean, he played the way everybody thought he was going to play when he was at Buffalo. I mean, they stole this kid. Don't forget. He was injured. Nobody wanted him.
He wanted out of there.
But
because they weren't taking care of him.
But nobody was going after him like Vegas went after him.
Yeah.
So, and he's a player. So you can't win without players like that. And but defense wins it.
Yeah.
Always wins it. The goaltender Hall played terrific. I mean, look at they won the game 9-3. They were up 6-1 at one point.
Yeah.
So the game was
totally
over before it even
Florida.
started. The guy was wheeling the Stanley Cup in the second period. They already had the name on the.
Well, it's all been decided, and your Stanley Cup champions. Congratulations to the Vegas Golden Knights. To our friend Dave Gosher now, who's called Stanley Cup champions with the Bruins and the Vegas Golden Knights. So congratulations to him, former Milton resident, and to the Denver Nuggets. And we hope to wish the Milton High baseball team the very best as they endeavor to win a repeat Division II title Saturday, Polar Park against the King Philip Warriors. So, Al, we're going to be taking a little bit of time off here for the summer. What are you going to do with yourself? Play some golf?
Yeah, I got a week down the Cape, but I'm going to play some golf and see if I can do what the Bruins do.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't wish you a happy Father's Day, Al.
You too.
All right. And to everyone else, happy Father's Day to you as well. And that'll do it for us. We'll see you back here a couple weeks and look forward to it. All righty, everyone. Take care. Have a great summer.